Rectangle A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime is the image of rectangle ABCD after a dilation centered at point A by a scale factor of 2/3. Which statement is correct? So whenever you are dilating a two-dimensional figure, the following properties will always be true, right? So if I have a two-dimensional figure, A, B, C, D, and let's say the side lengths here are M, M, N, and an N. If I dilate this by some factor, A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime, then the figure will have dimensions of MK, NK, and NK, right? So if the perimeter is equal to 2 times M plus N, right? Because if I add all the sides together, the perimeter of the original object is 2 times M plus N. The perimeter of the image, let's say P prime, is going to be 2 times M plus N times K. If that algebra there was a little too quick for you, prove to yourself that that is the case. If I add 2 MKs and 2 NKs together, will this result, right? And then something could be said about, let's say, the area. If I'm dealing with a rectangle here, let's say, right? The area of the old rectangle will be N times M, right? And then the area of the new rectangle will be N times M times K squared. So the area of the image is going to be the area of the old image multiplied by K squared. So let's take a look at some of the options here, whether or not it satisfies any of the descriptions that I just made. Rectangle A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime has a perimeter that is 2/3 the perimeter of rectangle ABCD. That is actually true. Let's see if the other options there sound ridiculous or not. Option 2, rectangle A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime has a perimeter that is 3/2 the perimeter of rectangle ABCD. That's not true, because whenever you're dilating, you're always multiplying the original perimeter by whatever the scale factor is. So in this case, it's 2/3. You're not multiplying by 3/2. You're not multiplying by the reciprocal. Option 3, rectangle A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime has an area that is 2/3 the area of rectangle ABCD. That's not true. The area of the image would be a factor of not 2/3, but 2/3 squared. So if they had 4/9 as option 3, then option 3 would also be correct. But in this case here, they have 2/3, which is not the case. Again, the new area, you're going to have to multiply by not 2/3, but by 2/3 squared. So that would be by a factor of 4/9. Option 4, rectangle A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime has an area that is 3/2 the area of rectangle ABCD. That's just ridiculous, because we're multiplying by a scale factor that's less than 1. We would expect the area to be less than the original, so we would not expect the area to be greater than the original. Here in this case, they're saying that we have to multiply by 3/2, when clearly that's not the case. So it is only option 1.